No one on? Okay. You let me know if there's someone else, right? We'll get rolling as soon as Stephanie's ready. Hey, Robert?
All right.
None for me, thanks. Matt wants.
Yeah, well, I brought Matt his own box because the last time I met from the share, he took the whole box with him.
How
you doing, Robert?
Santa.
All right.
We're live.
Okay, we're ready? Not yet?
Everybody knows that we are live.
Okay, we are live on the mic.
We're good now.
Okay, let's roll. Welcome everyone, City Council work session. This is a work session agenda for Monday, December 28, 2020, 4:30 PM, City Hall, Thomas J. Smith Council Chambers at 400 Washington Street. There is a public access phone number on your screen and the meeting number is there as well. First up on the discussion items, and we're switching our discussion items to in front of the meeting so we can get some of our guests through here quicker. Hi, Jim. So we're going to try this for a few weeks to see if it works. First up will be Treasurer's Report, Stephanie.
In your packet was November's treasurer's report. So really nothing out of the ordinary. Our balances look low right now. In December is when I do some transfers to transfer money up to the general fund. We do have some large deficit balances in some of our capital projects, and those are just waiting for some grant monies.
Okay.
So it's just a timing. And then, like I said, if nothing's looking out of the ordinary, if anybody has any questions or,
I didn't have anything, as long as you don't have questions.
nope, okay,
Council?
thanks.
Questions? No, thank you. Jim, did you want to add something?
I'm just gonna point out, and I don't know what the balance is on out of the flood account. It's close to 800,000 in the hole right now. We'll get reimbursement on a portion of that, but I think we need to be planning on, in order to get that cleared out at some point, having to do a transfer from the general fund of what, maybe 300,000?
We're waiting for insurance proceeds.
We just don't know. I think that's the high side. But
Okay,
there will be a transfer at some point that's gonna have to go over from the general fund to cover that.
okay. And have we heard anything yet on the other issue with the flood wall as far as the reimbursement?
No,
Okay.
no, I need to follow up with, the league and find out if they've had any conversations.
Okay,
But, legislative session doesn't start here for another 3 weeks, but that is an issue that needs to get fixed.
Can
So as you start, I'll make sure that I get, a conversation to our lobbyist and have him, or get an email back from him and forward it to you,
okay.
with who to contact.
Yeah, that's what
Yep.
I was wondering, because will encourage all the council to contact the
Yep.
proper. Okay,
Yep.
thank you, sir. There was no questions on that. Tiger Grant, we're not doing tonight, per Nick. And then there are two appointments we're looking at. Brooke Smith's term expired 12/18/2020. She's expressed an interest in serving an additional 3-year new term. For Animal Hearing Board, thank you, Pro Tem. And then the Zoning Board of Adjustment is Commission Member Diane LaRue Chubb. Her term is expiring 12/31/2020. She's expressed an interest in serving an additional 5-year term. So does council have any questions on those appointments? Hearing none. For the proposed regular agenda for January 4th, 2020, or 2021, God, it's going to be tough to say that. First up is a public hearing, consideration of an ordinance amending section 155.03, sections amended of the chapter 155 International Building Code of the Burlington Municipal Code, first reading. Eric.
So this code section primarily came about with some new construction plan for downtown. Looking at our code and looking at the Tama project, it falls under the International Building Code. Most of our buildings downtown fall under the International Existing Building Code that has allowances, since there are already existing buildings or historic buildings, for openings on the exterior, Looking at the International Building Code, that prohibited some openings on exterior, particularly on the alley sides. So essentially, there couldn't be any windows on that side, it'd just have to be a blank wall, or other sides where it doesn't have a certain area of, I guess, protection or open space that someone could access it. So we did talk to Mark Crooks, Fire Marshal, and looked at what some other communities do as well, and are suggesting this amendment, which would allow windows on that side. So, which is better for egress, better for talking to Crooks and, I guess, fire department for access, getting into the building or fighting a fire in the building, but also for usable space for the building, so it's not just a bunch of blank walls and dark rooms inside the building. So,
Sure. Have a nice alley view.
yeah, yep.
Council have any questions? All right, sounds like you're good on that one, sir. Next up is motion for the preliminary adoption, a second reading of the ordinance amending Chapter 81, all-terrain vehicles, snowmobile of Burlington Municipal Code. Chief Klein. Yes, sir.
Evening, Council. This is nothing more than a couple of changes regarding the addition of UTV language, verbiage, and acronyms. Utility terrain vehicles being added to the current code with snowmobiles and all-terrain vehicles. The only addition would be the provision that they be allowed for use during snow removal times on city streets, provided that they have active plows and/or snow blowers. Other than that, the ordinance
It's
remains
the same.
the same.
Council have any questions on that? Is anybody with me that we can waive the second reading, go right to the final reading on this one? Yes?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll make that happen. Next up is, thank you, Chief. Next up is a resolution approving the final plan of the Scooter subdivision. Scooter, yeah, it's a scooter on my sheet. Sorry, Eric, go ahead. It's a scooter. It's scooter.
Yep. So this, in the packet is the actual plat. It's a one-lot subdivision. This property on the corner of 6th and Angular currently is 2 lots. They've are working to subdivide to be able to sell one of the properties. As you can see there in the red, that's where the current property boundaries are. So there's 2 lots with the current property line going through the parking lot of the southern building. They're looking to split this approximately where that yellow dashed line is. So it's just shifting the existing property line so that each building and parking lot is on its own existing lot. So not a big change, but required for them to be able to sell any lot.
Okay,
And these are the commercial properties?
Yep.
all right, any
Yeah, that-
questions? Thank you. Looks like that one's good to go. Next up, a resolution in support of targeted jobs application for Project Integra, expanding operations into the city of Burlington. Mr. Hess.
Good evening, Council. Jeremy Hess, Director of Economic Development, Greater Burlington Partnership. I don't know if you guys have received the entire packet with everything in it, the targeted jobs application. I've prepared a resolution for the city of Burlington in support of Integra, this project. I can tell you a little bit about it tonight, if that's okay. So there is on Exhibit A in your packet, there is a little bit of background. So I was approached by a gentleman who's the CEO and president of Leisure Pool and Spas, which is one of the world's largest producers of in-ground swimming pools. And they had expressed interest into a building in our area, 3800 West Avenue. We all refer to that as the Siemens Building. And so went to work right away. Want to thank Eric and his team there to answer some questions that they had on the use of the building. So what they want to do on this building is to manufacture electronic pool or motorized pool covers for the industry initially, and then they want to expand into vinyl pool liners. It's an exciting project. They're looking at 80 jobs, over around 40 of which are above our countywide wage threshold of $21.61 an hour. So those 40 jobs would qualify for the targeted jobs application. They have facilities in Knoxville, Tennessee, New Braunfels, Texas, and Marion, South Carolina. So they are moving forward with these plans. However, we're not completely out of the woods yet. They obviously they want to see this targeted jobs application supported by the city and then signed off by this IEDA up at the state so that they can make plans and know what to expect as they expand in our community. Just a really classy operation, great people. One of the questions they had was sometimes during the winter months at one of their other facilities, they will ship these fiberglass or in-ground pools to the facility here and store them outdoors while they kind of build up inventory during the winter, and then they ship those out all over the U.S. Throughout the spring and the summer months. So it's kind of a cyclical thing with the storage of those. They're not, they're 7 foot high. We talked with Eric on a fence around so that would shield that. It's all on the back side of the property. All seem very reasonable, met with code. And they're just willing to make it look really nice, do a lot of landscaping, all that kind of stuff. So 80 jobs at this time is be welcome news to our community. Let's see, what else can I tell you? The only other thing is that there is, if you'll notice in the packet, there is no requirement for a city match of local funds. Based upon the assessor's information and how the project would work and so forth, we don't see a significant increase in the taxable value of that building, in which case there's not a need for a city match. So it's really kind of a no-risk situation. They only receive any funds if and when they create these jobs at those wage levels. And so I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. And
How do they distribute their product? Do they hire a company to ship it out, or do they ship these things out themselves?
I don't know if they hire a company, but they come in on trucks and go in and out on trucks.
Okay. And so you don't know if that's in-house or not?
I couldn't tell you. Haven't gotten that.
Gotcha.
Jeremy, is that going to be a ramp-up situation as far as the jobs, or they're looking at 80 right away, or they're looking at 80 spaced out over a year or two?
It looks, they've spelled it out over 3 years to kind of give them some wiggle room with the state, so that, if they don't hit targets within 1 year, that there's not clawback measures. Indications I have that they would probably hit for 40 right away. They know that the way the program works is that the sooner they get those positions in, they can receive those targeted job funds, and they get those in sooner rather than later, and I'm sure that that's their interest.
Any questions, council?
Hey, Jeremy, there wasn't anything in the packet. We'll be able to look at that.
This Jim's coming up.
Did I not put all this in there?
Well-
I emailed it.
Yeah, he emailed that this morning.
Oh, okay.
So we
She
couldn't
told-
get that in the packet for last Friday.
I did it by 10. She
last
said it was
Thursday.
due at noon, so I thought
That's
it
for
was-
next week's packet.
Okay, I'm
So
sorry.
it'll be in the packet for this next
Okay,
week.
that's perfect.
Good news like this with no match, I don't think we really have any questions, but,
It's just wonderful news.
yeah, that's great work, sir. So are you going to add that one to 2021 for your, your notch in your handle, or are you going to leave that for 2020?
I'm shooting for 2020.
Okay, all right. I
But
like that.
just know that this is a world-class organization. We hope to attract them here to get their start here. They really like the building. They really like the infrastructure with the highways and rail access. So hopefully we can see just expansion after expansion. That's what they've done in other communities that they've been to.
That's
I was
fantastic.
going to mention that because logistically, this is a great place to ship in and out of. Burlington is just a hub. It's why so many factories are in Mount Pleasant as well, because of the intersecting highways. So having Burlington so close to, like you said, the rails and the highways, it'd be wonderful for them if they're listening in by any chance.
Right. And so, just so everyone's aware, though, that there's no necessarily, this is an application.
Sure.
And there's no announcement until they see what the state does and so forth. But that's where we're at. It's looking
We'll
really
keep our
strong.
fingers crossed.
Yep.
Great work, sir.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, so then after that is resolution awarding contract for the 2020 Harrison Avenue Storm Drainage Over the Bluff project.
So if you'll remember, back in August, we came to you with some concern about the area. Shown in the image there, at the end of Harrison Street as it goes over the bluff, we had a rainstorm that caused a lot of sloughing off of the hillside there. There was a project that separated the storm and sanitary sewer that created a structure. As you see the rock kind of splash off to the southwest, or southeast, sorry. We put a big concrete structure in there that disperses the water. What happened is a lot of material underneath and down the hill sloughed off, ultimately ending up into the area that goes underneath the railway. And so our concern moving forward is to be able to secure the structure, the $250,000 that we put into the separation, and not having it fall off the hillside. So it's taken a while to come up with an engineered plan, just because of the difficulty of accessing it. From the roadside down to the place where the work is going to be done is about 40 foot below the road grade. So you're not going to be able to drive equipment down there. Anything you're doing is clam bucketing with a crane over the edge and then dropping it down. So Veenstra and Kim did the original plans. They had all the survey material, so we had them work on a project plan. The estimated project cost was $360,000. We had 4 bidders take a look at it. We went on site. They had a plan set in front of them. Brandt Construction was the low bid at $372,000. A lot of that is the difficulty of accessing the site. They did talk to Jesse today about their thought of, in the proposed plan, is these really big blocks. I mean, they weigh a ton for the blocks. They think it may be easier because of the time to order the block to clam down concrete. I don't see how that's going to be cost effective, but if they have a cost proposal that would help reduce that or be even and they can get it moving quicker, I'd be all for it. So as of right now, we would recommend awarding bid to Brandt so to get started on it. I get concerned walking into the spring with heavy rains and having this open problem still sitting there. So the miscellaneous are seem unending problems from that project line item seems to keep going, but it's something we have to do. If we don't, we will lose much more infrastructure than that. So
Okay.
I can answer any questions on that.
Council have any questions? So it's the southeast, that's at the rock trail, right? That's where the
Correct.
baffle
Yep.
bucket or whatever you call it. So the red,
That's just a pin when I clicked on
that's
for
just
pictometry.
okay, I
Yeah,
wanted to
no,
make sure.
it was just
You're
a,
not going over to there. is what
No,
it
no,
is.
no.
Okay,
It's
all
yeah,
right.
it's just right down at the edge where that rock is.
Right, I see
There's a like a 10 or 15 foot drop off, and then there's a shelf. It's essentially the plunge pools
Yeah.
where the water used to come through and drop, and then go in and drop again. And so then it goes right before it drops off 40 some foot down to the bottom of the rail. So there's some material in there, and they're going to have to probably bring in some hand tools and drill into. There is rock down there that they can get pins into, and that's kind of the goal, is to get it fastened to the hillside. So
Okay.
So we're slightly over budget because of the difficulty of getting in there, you said? Explain that
to
again.
be honest, the estimate that they came up with, it's hard to understand. You can estimate what that quantity costs are for those blocks and pins and what it would cost normally to do it on a flat part. The difficulty to estimate, and it's reflected in the price, is how do you get down there and do the job?
Yeah.
Especially when you can't get equipment down there. It'd be a lot easier if you get a skid loader and an excavator, and you could go in there and you could just put up the little wall. It's more than just a little wall. It's a tiered system.
Sure. Okay, any other questions for Nick on that one, gang? Sounds like you got it. On the proposed consent agenda for January 4th, 2021, first up is a resolution approving the purchase of golf carts for Flint Hills Golf Course. Cars,
Yeah. We had 80,960 budgeted in the FY '21 CIP for replacement of, and trade-in of 21 golf cars. These are 2010 E-Z-Go carts that are needing a lot of repairs. We've already replaced the batteries once. I don't know if it was 5 or 6 years ago, we started keeping them longer, and these are at their useful life for us. So trading those in and getting new carts or cars. We do receive bids tomorrow. We do have one current bid, so as long as they're at that budget amount, we'd want to move forward with that and get those replaced.
Any questions, council? No? All right, and then we're going to set the date for public hearings. January 19th, 2021. First will be a consideration of an ordinance amending Section 1, legal description, and Section 5, land use/design requirements of an ordinance number 3217 of an ordinance creating the Fun City Planned Unit Development PUD Overlay District. The other hearings we're going to set will be a consideration for an ordinance amending Section B, land use design criteria for the ordinance number 3104 Burlington Senior Living Campus PUD. And finally, a consideration of plans and specifications for the 2021 Harrison Avenue Reconstruction Project. All right, any further items from you, Eric, Don, Nick? Chief Klein? No, sir. Chief Trexel? No. Jim? Stephanie? Jim? Stephanie? I'm giving you a chance. All right, council, hey, you just made it in time. Council, do you have anything, Bill?
Happy New Year.
Rob?
Friday, the trash route changed, right? So that if your trash run goes out Friday, it needs to go out Thursday.
That's right.
Before 7, preferably earlier than that. Don't make them wait on you, running out in your shorts and flip flops. Other than that, have a happy New Year. Everybody be safe. You know, we all want to have fun, and the social distancing thing kind of puts a cramp in that. But you know, avoid large crowds and you know, be mindful of you know, maybe this is winding down and we can be done with it. So.
Okay, Matt, you got anything?
I just want to remind everyone that we're probably going to have a snowstorm this week. And if you're listening, I would encourage you to not only clear your sidewalks, but also remove your vehicles from city snow routes.
Okay, Linda?
Matt's correct. We're probably going to get some ice, so be really careful about that coming in. And then also have a wonderful, happy, and safe and healthy New Year's, and celebrate safely this year so you can get together next year with everybody. Thank you.
Okay, I don't have anything, so